I think a certain degree of deceit, trickery, need to be present.
Do you still recall the first track that you actually were proud of? Do you still recall? Is it long ago, or is it maybe not still?
How proud? I mean,
well, let me say, the two of you were working music. You were making music together, and I think, maybe the first track you made, you already thought, wow, this is brilliant, or I can't imagine, but maybe you thought so.
Maybe we did.
I don't know.
Well, that's hard to tell. I mean, I would say that there are degrees of contentment and proudness and satisfaction. And well, I do remember still the same period. I mean, when we met up, we quickly sort of put money together for our first drum machine. Mm-hmm. And we got some synthesizers, some basic equipment, and started off actually trying to find out other songs, what they were, sort of what's this bass line, and I remember Kraftwerk's The Model was an early thing that we went for, with vocals and everything.
What did you learn from this track?
Well, I definitely learned that to have a good ear is something that either you're born with or you have to train really hard to get, because there was a bit confusion on what the melodies actually were and the chords and so on. I remember some bickering in the group, and I remember I was wrong. I realized at some point that my ear wasn't trained. It was a sort of half note wrong, what I have found out. So yeah, I mean, and we learned drum programming, finding sounds, but we soon got tired of it and moved on. And that's back to your question again, because I remember I had made something on the keyboard on my own that I wanted to present to the others, and how scary that was, and how awfully embarrassing it was. But as soon as I had played it and the others sort of, okay, yeah, good, I felt some certain feeling of elation and maybe perhaps pride.
Was it used in a track maybe?
Yeah, we made a few tracks. They were never sort of properly recorded. It was just something that we made and played together.
Do you still listen to it maybe once in a while? Or?
Well, as I said, we unfortunately do not have a proper recording of it, so it's in our memories only.
Oh, so you I thought maybe you had a not sound-wise not a good recording, but you still have a recording, but you don't.
Maybe there's a recording on a sort of old cassette somewhere. Right. I remember we had a 4-track recorder at some point. Maybe it's there.
Okay. Should be interesting to listen to again.
Yeah, I think we'll wait another 20 years or so.
Another decade. Well then, you achieved big success with Melody AM. How do you look back on that album now? It's been 8 years. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that album? Now, 8 years have passed. Maybe even more, because I think you made it maybe before 2001.
Yeah, because that's interesting, because that's what I think about when you ask about Melody AM. Actually, not what happened after the release, but before.
What happened before?
Well, we've told this in many interviews, how we went to born in Tromsø and met up again at the age of, I don't know how old we were, 20, in Bergen, and started making stuff again. And the conditions were actually worse than ever in terms of what equipment we actually had, because we've been sort of sharing equipment with others, and now we were at a time where we only had sort of the basic stuff, and it was very little. But we managed to make music with it, and we were very poor at the time, and gradually we were able to. Actually, we applied for some money from Norsk Musikkråd, which is a thing where you delegate some money to artists in Norway, and we got enough to get a proper mixing desk, which we needed in order to continue. And we set up a better studio together with Bjorn Toske, which I mentioned earlier. And we had some years that I look back on with a lot of good memories. But I also remember sort of how difficult it seemed to go from where we were to actually have a finished album and also have someone interested enough to, you know, put their money on it and make it reach out to people.